Hello nerds and nerdettes, welcome back to the channel and Happy New Year to each and every one of you guys. This is being shot on New Year's Day, very exciting moment. We've finally made it into 2023, which means more books, more releases, and that's exactly what this video is going to be about. It's actually going to be my first top 10 rather than a top 5 video because I couldn't narrow it down to top 5. And that's going to be going over my most anticipated releases for the month of January. A lot of big releases, a lot of huge titles. So this list was extremely hard to make, not only for a top 5, but even for a top 10. A lot of good stuff being released. I'm almost praying for some of the dates to change because my wallet can't take it, much like you guys' wallets probably can't either. But before we get into the listing, a couple, reminders as far as the list goes. One, I won't be mentioning anything that I've already collected unless it's something extremely noteworthy that I think mentioning would be worth it for you guys. I also won't be mentioning anything that I've already said in prior lists to kind of keep it fresh unless, again, it's something noteworthy worth mentioning a second time. But even then, I'll probably just make kind of a mention and not necessarily include it in the list itself. But with that being said, before we jump into the top 10, I do have a couple honorable mentions to kind of go over before we get into that. My list is over to my right, so if you see me look this way, that's why. But we have, for honorable mentions, we have Godzilla, Rivals Round 1. Huge fan of Godzilla, but I don't have any Godzilla books really, so it didn't really make it into the top 10 list. We also have Invincible Compendium number 1, the hardcover editions. These books are probably going to be absolutely beautiful and would definitely make it into probably my top 5, but I'm extremely torn on picking up the Ultimate collections or the compendiums just because I have The Walking Dead in hardcovers. I'm going to be getting the Savage Dragon hardcovers. Maybe I'm just going to want to keep them all in hardcover volumes. I'm not too sure. And that's why it's not exactly in my list, but it would be, and you guys should definitely pick those up. And also Middle West, the Full Tale hardcover. If you guys saw, I just collected the hardcover somewhat recently. This is pretty much the exact same thing other than an extra issue, I believe. So it's not going to make it into my list because I've obviously not even read it yet. So I can't exactly include it, but I've heard nothing but good things, and the fact that they're thrown in an extra issue is at least making it worth the reprint. But that does wrap up the honorable mentions, so with that being said, we can jump to number 10. Number 10 is going to be for my manga lovers. It's going to be Ghost in the Shell, the fully compiled edition. It's going to be a hardcover collection of the entire manga from what it's solicited as, at least. I'm not 100% sure on that. It does have a cover price of $50, and it will be getting released on January 10th. This is all written and drawn by Masamune Shirow. Great stuff. My only real exposure has been the anime and movies. I do have the box set, which I'm assuming is everything that's going to be collected into this edition, but I might want to upgrade, but I guess we'll kind of see. But that is Ghost in the Shell, the fully compiled edition. Definitely recommend you guys checking it out, especially if you want a all-in-one, you just buy one single volume for $50 and you get everything you need. We'll go ahead and jump to number 9, which is going to be Fantastic Four by John Byrne, Volume 2, which is a reprint. This is a huge reason why I haven't gotten Volume 1 yet, because I just kept getting worried I was going to get Volume 1 and have to pay crazy amounts for Volume 2 or never get it. But now that a reprint is coming and it's confirmed, I am going to be hunting down that Volume 1, even though it's not really that hard to find. But we do have a cover price of $125. It is coming out on January 24th, and it does have a page count of 1,224 pages. Decently sized book, especially for a Marvel Omnibus. And John Byrne's run on Fantastic Four is highly regarded, a lot of fun. You get a little bit of a switch up as far as the team roster, and it's really good stuff. It's probably my second favorite run behind Hickman's Fantastic Four, but I'm not a huge Fantastic Four lover. I only really like 3 runs, Byrne, Hickman, and Wade, but I will be planning on getting this 2-volume set now that volume 2 is definitely coming out. But we can go ahead and jump to number 8, which is going to be yet another reprint, Avengers by Kurt Busiek and George Perez, the amazing man that he was. We lost him last year. Great run on Avengers. Some say a title-defining run even. George Perez doing amazing art, as he always does. Great at team-up books. This is a volume 1, so I'm sure we'll get volume 2 eventually. It does have a cover price of $125. This pretty much seems like the standard for Marvel Omnibuses these days. It's coming out January 3rd and has a page count of 1,184 pages. Really good stuff. If you are a fan of Avengers, I definitely recommend you picking this up. There's kind of scattered runs that are really worth getting as far as Avengers go, and this is definitely one of them. This is what made Avengers kind of popular back in the day. It was kind of a team-up book that no one really paid attention to because you had X-Men for the team-up books, but this is one of the runs that really put it somewhere on the map for readers, and that's definitely why you should pick it up. A lot of great events take place, and George Perez art, I don't need to really say anything other than that. But we can go ahead and jump to number 7, which will be yet another reprint for the Secret Wars Omni, one of my whales, but I just had a feeling it was going to be reprinted. It's like the first Marvel event. There's no way they're ever going to let this thing not be reprinted. It's a very small Omni though, guys. It has a cover price of $75 and a page count of only 496 pages. Comes out on January 10th also. If you guys have the Secret Wars hardcover, I'd probably just say kind of stick with that unless you really want those enlarged pages. But it's a mediocre event. It's a kind of important event as far as some things that happen to characters and going into the MCU. They're pulling slightly from this potentially, so definitely kind of worth it as far as the historical value goes, but not a insane mind-blowing story that you're going to encounter in this book. And it's very small. I always hate small Omnis. I just feel like they should just be hardcovers, but they know when you slap that Omni on it, you can get a little bit more money out of it. But really great stuff. If you have the hardcover, I'd probably say just stick with it. This doesn't come with a whole lot of extra back issues or tie-ins or bonus material. It's just kind of a enlarged hardcover. So that's up to you guys. That's my recommendation, but I am excited again because I don't even have the hardcover. But with that being said, we'll jump to number 6, which will finally be a new omnibus, and also not from Marvel, but from DC, which is going to be the Dark Knights Metal Omnibus. Great stuff. Very recent event that took place. This is releasing in January 24th, all written by Scott Snyder. So if you're a huge fan of a lot of his series, or a lot of the work that he did in DC, such as Batman during the New 52 era, or his Justice League run, which I think is very slept on, then you'll probably like this event. It's an entire event that leads all the way back to everything he's written in DC. It does have a cover price of $150, but the odd thing, which I think this is not correct at all, but this is the information that I could find, a page count of 760 pages. I got a lot of this information from either Google, multiple websites, or Amazon, and 760 pages for $150 doesn't exactly seem worth it, and I definitely feel like there should be way more content and a higher page count than that, so I think that's definitely off. But nonetheless, it is a great event that took place in DC and led us into kind of the future state era of DC that we're kind of in now. So really good stuff, and if you want to get kind of caught up into the DC that is taking place currently in ongoing series, then this is definitely some recommended reading. And here we are, making it into the top 5 with number 5, the House of M Omnibus. a great event, highly regarded. You got Bendis doing a large majority of the writing, but this obviously is an Omni, so you have all the tie-ins, very stellar art throughout. This has a cover price of $125 and comes out January 10th. This is a new omnibus for Marvel, finally in the list. The page count is 1368, whammy of a book, really big book, and really big event that took place. This is what leads us up to a lot of the stuff that we got recently, like the AVX and kind of that era of the X-Men and why they are doing what they're doing. Very important book, especially if you are a X-Men fan. This is a extremely life-changing event for every X-Men character. So if you do like the X-Men and you are trying to read X-Men, I highly recommend this book. But even if you don't, it is a great event. Amazing writing, amazing writing and art. And honestly, it's probably in my top 5 events. And it's really good stuff. And it has a decent page count for a decent price. So can't shake a stick at it. And that will bring us into number 4, which is going to be another new omnibus by Marvel, Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 2, continuing the omnibuses. Beyond excited. I love that we're actually going to get this entire run by Brian Michael Bendis, Mark Bagley, long history-defining run as far as how long they were together creating this story. Amazing art throughout, amazing writing throughout, and if you kind of want to lead up to those Miles Morales omnibuses that were released recently, then this is kind of a lot of required reading as well. But a great run on the character. I know it's not 616 Spider-Man or 616 Peter Parker, but this is usually the Spider-Man that everybody thinks of and everybody enjoys reading the most. Perfectly done. Amazing stuff, and I think we're actually, especially how much these books are anticipated, I definitely think we're going to complete the entire run in omnibus format, which is beyond exciting. But this is coming out January 17th, cover price of $125 and a page count of 984 pages. Really good stuff. Highly recommend getting that volume 1 and this volume 2. Next up, here we are in the top 3 now, and a appearance of one of my longtime whales since I've been collecting, which is the Batman and Robin omnibus by Peter J. Tomasi and Patrick Gleason. Holy moly, I've wanted this for a long time. This is my favorite run on Batman. It happens to feature Damian Wayne. Great writing throughout, great art throughout, really great stuff. The lightning in the bottle he captured during his Superman run, he captures in this run, and this actually took place even before he touched the character of Superman. Really great stuff. He understands father and son relationships in a superhero dynamic, and he knocks it out of the park. As always, one of my probably favorite writers in my top 10 or top 15. Really good stuff. We do have a release date of January 17th. A cover price of $150, which seems to be kind of the standard for DC omnibuses, and a page count of 1,248. It's always been a thick book, and it's still a thick book. All DC books really are. But really great stuff. I highly recommend you guys getting this book, especially if you liked his Superman Omni, and I'm through the moon that not only is one of my whales being reprinted finally, but a little spoiler into the next 2. Another one of my whales is also being reprinted yet again. But no more spoilers, let's get to number 2, which is going to be Vinland Saga Book 13, continuing the series. My second favorite manga series that I've ever experienced, right behind Berserk. Amazing stuff. I cannot talk any higher about this series. If you love Berserk, you need to check out Vinland Saga. They are collected in hardcover. I think they are 2-in-1s. Really great stuff. $20 is the cover price. The page count is 384 pages, which is pretty decent for a manga volume. and it comes out January 10th. I cannot wait to get that in my hands and continue, because I flew through book 12, and book 12 was a huge gap between 11 and 12, but it seems like we're going to start getting these somewhat regularly, not fast-paced by any means, but somewhat regularly, and I am beyond excited, and I hope you guys check it out because of how highly I'm talking about it, because it's 100% worth the checkout. And here we are, number one most anticipated release in the month of January. That was a long list. I don't know how people do top 10s all the time, but here we are. DareDevil by Frank Miller and Klaus Janson Omnibus. Finally getting the reprint we've all wanted, we've all needed. My favorite run on the character of DareDevil, and I can finally get it in omnibus format, and it won't have those ugly dust jackets. Thank God. And I cannot believe that it's actually happening, and it's actually coming this month. This is one of the books in my top 10 that I do not want moved. I need to finally get that in the collection. It is being released January 31st, so they're going to keep us on the edge of our seats for that release, last day of the month. Has a cover price of $100. It is obviously a reprint and has a page count of 840 pages. This is a definitely character-defining run. This is the run that brought DareDevil into popularity out of obscurity and made him kind of the dark and gritty character that we all know and love. And I cannot wait. I fully know that this is being reprinted because of DareDevil coming into the MCU, but whatever, I don't care as long as we get it. I am beyond excited. I get 2 whales that are being reprinted in this month alone, as well as my favorite manga series ever being collected, and that's my top 3. I cannot wait, and I would love to hear what you guys can't wait for in the month of January. And that wraps up today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know down below what you guys are mostly anticipating for this month, or maybe even for the year of 2023. We have a lot of big books and a lot to look forward to. It's crazy how much comic books and collected editions have just become so popular that we're getting books at such a rapid pace. I remember back before really the manga boom and the collected editions boom during the quarantine, you had to wait months and months and months and months for a release of anything really. And here we are getting so many releases in a month that I could actually make a top 10, and it was hard to make a top 10, which is extremely scary and intimidating at the same time, but I guess more is better than less. I'm not too sure where I fall there because I'm running out of money. But with that being said, thank you so much for watching. Like I said, comment down below, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up icon. It really helps the algorithm. If you enjoyed what you watched here today, then definitely hit that subscribe button and join the Illuminati. It's a great place and a great community. But other than that, thank you for watching and stay nerdy as always.